Hello everyone, I'm Brian and welcome back. So if there's any meditation going on, I will be skipping it because now if he talks about it, that's one thing, but if it's actual meditation, I'll be skipping it for the most part. And if you want to watch it again, please do not watch it on my channel. If you want to watch it uninterrupted and you want to watch the whole thing, please go to the channel. There should be a link in the description if my entire description hasn't been mass updated. But if you want to practice and watch it uninterrupted, please go to his channel and watch it there. Let's go ahead and get started.
This is where I meditate every day. I usually start with prayer and devotional meditation, which help balance the lofty Vedantic meditations I practice next. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to set aside this routine and focus exclusively on the practice of Kundalini Yoga. You can join me in this practice by using the teachings that follow as a guide. I'm eager to begin this new adventure, but when I reflect on my guru's negative comments about Kundalini Yoga, I feel a bit uneasy. If he were still alive, I might not have undertaken this project. Our inner pilgrimage begins with the Muladhara chakra at the base of the spine. Mula means root, and this chakra is the root or starting place for this practice. Each of the lowest 5 chakras represent one of the 5 elements known in ancient times: earth, water, fire, air, and space, from the most gross, earth, to the most subtle, space. Inside the Muladhara chakra, the element earth is represented by a yellow square. It's interesting that the Yoga Upanishads specify colors for each of the 5 elements, but they say nothing about the color of each chakra. The colors used here are based on later scriptural traditions. You'll often see Sanskrit letters adorning the petals of each chakra, but these letters aren't mentioned in the Yoga Upanishads. They were a later addition. The Yoga Upanishads do specify mantras, not for the chakras, but for each of the 5 elements. Lam is the mantra for the element earth. Chakras are often depicted with these mantras drawn inside, but mantras are for recitation, not for visualization. Each chakra is the abode of a particular deity to be meditated upon during one's inner pilgrimage. For the Muladhara chakra, the deity is Brahma, God in its aspect as creator of the universe. The Muladhara or root chakra is associated both with the element earth, the root of all matter, and with Brahma, the root of existence itself. In meditation, Brahma is to be visualized according to the scriptures, seated on a lotus with 4 arms and 4 heads. I've just finished my first meditation. For many years, I focused my attention between my eyebrows, so it wasn't difficult to concentrate on the base of the spine instead. With my attention fixed there, I visualized the Muladhara chakra while reciting the earth mantra Lam. I reflected on how the element earth is the basis for my physical existence, for every atom in my body. Then I imagined Brahma residing in the chakra, and I settled into a deeply prayerful mood, feeling God's divine presence within me. The ability to become deeply absorbed in devotion is one of the many benefits of regular meditation. I find this prayerful state very nurturing and healing. In that state, I sought Brahma's blessings for success on the journey that's just begun. In order to proceed, we have to consult the Yoga Chudamani Upanishad, which says, within the Muladhara chakra is a yoni, and within that yoni is a great linga. The words yoni and linga often denote the female and male sex organs. But here, yoni means Kundalini Shakti, the feminine principle we discussed before, and the word linga signifies Shiva as pure consciousness, the masculine principle. In the Muladhara chakra, Kundalini Shakti is depicted as a powerful serpent, and Shiva is depicted as a rounded linga encircled by that serpent. Intimate contact between the serpent and linga is said to generate heat or fire. According to the rishis, certain yogic practices can kindle that fire until it becomes hot enough to wake up the dormant Kundalini serpent and drive it out of the Muladhara chakra, upwards into the Sushumna Nadi, which emerges from the top. To kindle the fire in the Muladhara chakra, the Yoga Upanishads prescribe several asanas, pranayamas, and bandhas. One is Mula Bandha, which entails contracting the muscles at the anus. Another is a kind of pranayama known as Bhastrika, which involves rapid, forceful exhalations, together with pulsations of the abdomen muscles. These techniques are said to force prana into the Muladhara chakra, fanning the flame, so to speak, to produce enough heat to force the Kundalini upwards. In tomorrow's meditation, I'll try these techniques.
That, I don't know about that. But I guess the breath and the abdomen technique
While
would be
meditating
my method.
today, I visualized a roaring fire inside the Muladhara chakra as I practiced Mula Bandha. After each inhalation, I briefly retained my breath and contracted the sphincter muscles. After a while, those muscles got tired, so I switched to Bhastrika Pranayama. It's often called bellows breath because of its vigorous exhalations. Bellows are used to force air into a fire to raise its temperature. Bhastrika Pranayama certainly raised my temperature. It's very energizing. With each exhalation, I also pulsed my abdomen muscles, which shook the organs inside the trunk of my body where the Muladhara chakra is located. This shaking is said to help wake up the serpent sleeping there.
I guess the the thing that you got to learn is how is it done? Because I wish there was a demonstration, like on the abdomen one, just because I don't know, like, what you flex it and then you exhale, inhale, or what?
Have you ever noticed how sensations like itches, hunger, and thirst become stronger when you focus your attention on them? That's due to the power of suggestion, which can actually be used as a valuable tool for meditation. Long ago, I found that by concentrating my attention anywhere in my body, like between my eyebrows, I could produce various sensations there. Today, as I visualized a fire blazing away in the Muladhara chakra, I began to feel a sense of warmth at the base of my spine. This physical sensation arose due to the combined effects of Mula Bandha, Bhastrika Pranayama, and the power of suggestion. Since Kundalini Yoga is based on chakras that have been deliberately superimposed, the power of suggestion is crucial for its effectiveness. skillful meditators intentionally wield this power in their practice. For those meditators who believe that chakras truly exist inside their bodies, the power of suggestion works unconsciously. And it's actually strengthened by their beliefs, making their practice more effective than for someone like me who doesn't share their beliefs.
That would be definitely another struggle for sure. The reason, the way I start to, I guess, in some sense about Advaita Vedanta and all of that, is the fact that I relate it to something that's very real, at least in terms of the transactional reality or objective reality. That way, it's like a stepping stone to believe in the absolute reality. Even then, like how I say some time ago, where how I believe Brahman to be, how scientists can find the absolute smallest thing in this universe that exists in everything. How we thought the atom was the smallest thing, but it's not. It's actually, there's something smaller, which is the nucleus, which there's something smaller than the nucleus, which is the protons and neutrons, but there's something smaller than the protons and neutrons, which is the electrons. I think there's something smaller than electrons. I don't know what the smallest thing is, but how I guess true Advaita Vedantas believe that everything's pure consciousness, everything's made out of Brahman. How I can translate that as to how there's the smallest thing in this universe that everything's created out of. Everything has atoms, everything has protons and neutrons, I believe. And you could say that there's this thing that exists in all thing that exists is called Brahman. And whatever that smallest thing is, exists in everything, Brahman. So, which goes to the materialistic reality, Brahman is the smallest atom, to Advaita Vedanta, which is everything's made out of Brahman, pure consciousness. Which also still, I think even in the materialistic world, can be seen as true. Everything is made out of pure consciousness. Because, how I explained before, where everything must manifest in consciousness for you to be aware of it. I still have to work on that, but that's what I think of so far, is that obviously for you to be aware of something, it must make its way into your consciousness for you to be aware of it. Because if it doesn't make it into your consciousness, you're unaware of it. So therefore it doesn't exist if you're not aware of it, right?
Such is the nature of the power of suggestion. Each day I practice, the sense of warmth at the base of my spine seems to grow more intense. So today, I shifted the point of my concentration upwards, away from the Muladhara chakra and towards the Swadhisthana chakra above it. Not surprisingly, the sense of warmth at the base of my spine also moved upwards. Could this modest experience be the initial ascent of Kundalini Shakti? Shouldn't it be something more dramatic? Some practitioners report having intense and even tumultuous experiences when Kundalini begins its ascent.
I will say, like how he talked about how he was able to focus his energies to between his brows and feel a sensation there. If he's able to shift his focus somewhere else, that sensation between his brows could be shifted elsewhere. And that's what I was thinking. Perhaps that's what he was feeling.
But every practitioner is different. Besides, what rises from chakra to chakra is energy like heat, not a snake. The snake is a deliberate superimposition of the rishis who prescribed that meditators should shift their point of concentration upwards from one chakra to the next. Yet, for many practitioners, Kundalini seems to begin its ascent spontaneously and continue to rise without any deliberate effort whatsoever. All such experiences could certainly be brought about by the mind's power of suggestion.
He also seems to be going by this. I'm wondering if this is every day he practiced this, and then on the 9th day he decided to move to the next chakra, or is it, day 1 he does meditation, day 2 he stops, day 3 he moves to the next chakra. I'm wondering, how is he exactly doing this? Like, seems like it's going by pretty quick. I don't know if that's the case, or does he feel like as he focuses on the next, like, does he know that, okay, I've reached chakra number 3 and I'm ready to go to number 4, he just moves on to number 4? Or does it like, okay, 3, I still need to stay here because it hasn't moved up, then when he feels it moves up, it's like, okay, now I'm number 4, or how's it going?
Today, I began to meditate on the Swadhisthana chakra. Since my Kundalini has apparently begun its ascent, there's no need to kindle the fire in the Muladhara chakra anymore.
So it's choosing to do it.
I stopped practicing Mula Bandha and Bhastrika Pranayama. Instead, I visualized the Swadhisthana chakra, also known as the sacral chakra. Swadhisthana means the seat of existence. And this chakra is fittingly located at your seat, the sacrum. It has 6 petals and is associated with the element water, which is represented by a white crescent moon. Vam is the mantra for the element water. The deity abiding in this chakra is Vishnu, God in its aspect as sustainer of the universe. Just as the element water sustains life, Vishnu sustains the world. Vishnu is generally depicted with blue skin and 4 arms. I visualized the Swadhisthana chakra while reciting the water mantra Vam and reflecting on how water sustains my life. Then I imagined Vishnu residing in the chakra, and once again I settled into a deeply prayerful mood.
Oh, so until the 9th day, all of that was just from the first chakra. I thought each different meditation day was a different chakra, and because he was describing so many different things, I didn't realize there were many steps to that first chakra.
Today, after visualizing the Swadhisthana chakra, as I did yesterday, I became aware of the sense of warmth at my sacrum. The sensation grew stronger when I focused on it more intensely. And when I shifted my attention upwards towards the Manipura chakra, the sense of warmth also climbed upwards. I'm a bit surprised to progress from chakra to chakra so quickly, but it's likely that all my prior meditation practice has helped me a lot. For the past 2 days, I've been meditating on the Manipura chakra. Manipura means abode of gems. It's also called Nabhi chakra because it's located behind the Nabhi or navel. It's not accurate to call it solar plexus chakra because that plexus is located well above the navel. The Manipura chakra has 10 petals and is associated with the element fire, which is represented by a red triangle. Ram is the mantra for the element fire. The deity abiding in this chakra is Rudra, a fierce aspect of Shiva, usually depicted as a warrior or hunter. In meditation, I visualized the Manipura chakra and recited the fire mantra, Ram. When I reflected on the element fire, it became obvious how the expression fire in the gut made its way into the English language. This region seems to be associated with power, will, and assertiveness. I could sense these qualities with my attention focused there. It's no surprise that a powerful deity like Rudra abides in the Manipura chakra. For me, meditating on Rudra is like watching a violent thunderstorm that evokes great awe and respect, mixed with a little bit of fear. In today's meditation, after visualizing the Manipura chakra, I focused on the sense of warmth behind my navel. As before, the more I observed it, the stronger it grew. Then I shifted my attention upwards to the center of my chest, where the Anahata chakra is located. The sense of warmth rose from the navel and gradually expanded, filling my chest. For 3 days now, I've been meditating on the Anahata chakra, the so-called heart chakra, located along the spine at chest level. Anahata means that which cannot be struck, injured, or killed, referring to one's soul. This chakra has 12 petals and is associated with the element air, aptly so being near the lungs. The element air is represented by a smoky, six-pointed figure. Yum is the mantra for the element air. The deity abiding in the Anahata chakra is a beneficent form of Shiva, depicted as looking in all directions simultaneously, to bless everyone. Shiva is often called God of Destruction, but it might be more accurate to call him God of Transformation, Purification, and Growth, since all these depend on the destruction of a prior condition so a new and better state can arise. When I visualized the Anahata chakra, my attention was drawn to the air passing into and out of my lungs. Air is constantly in motion, and it's this movement of air that fills us with life. When I meditated on Shiva, I felt deeply grateful for the gift of life we receive with each and every breath. In today's meditation, I focused on the sense of warmth that filled my chest. Once again, it grew stronger and rose when I shifted my attention upwards to my throat, where the Vishuddha chakra is located. I've completed 2 more meditations, focusing on the Vishuddha chakra located at the throat. Vishuddha means pure, untainted. This chakra has 16 petals and is associated with the element space, which is represented by a transparent circle. Hum is the mantra for this element. The deity abiding in the Vishuddha chakra is the bi-gendered form of Shiva, whose right side is male and left side is female. This form of Shiva reminds us that none of us are exclusively male or female. Nature is exuberant in its diversity and avoids such absolute divisions. Meditating on this form helped me accept feminine qualities which are as much a part of me as the masculine ones. In today's meditation, I observed the sense of warmth in my throat, and as before, it moved upwards when I shifted my attention to the Ajna chakra, between my eyebrows. Ajna means a command or order, which shows this chakra's association with the mind, our so-called command center. Even though the Ajna chakra is located between the eyebrows, to call it third eye chakra is problematic, since the Yoga Upanishads make no references to a third eye. The Agnya chakra is completely different from the others. It's not associated with a particular deity or any of the 5 elements. And since it's not associated with an element, it has no mantra, although later traditions associate it with the mantra Om. The Agnya chakra stands at the threshold between the 5 elemental chakras in the body below and the transcendent Sahasrara chakra above. From the Mooladhara upwards, each chakra has an increasing number of petals, but the Agnya has only 2. The Yoga Upanishads are curiously silent about symbolic meanings for these petals. In fact, the rishis provide surprisingly few details about any of the chakras. Many of the details and the elaborate symbolism that exists today was established by later generations of yogis and compiled into Sanskrit texts like the famous 16th century work Exposition of the 6 Chakras. The rishis seem to have deliberately left many details up to the imagination of practitioners. And this suggests that the rishis' creative use of deliberate superimposition could legitimately be used by later practitioners as well. Based on this, modern adaptations like rainbow-hued chakras could certainly be considered acceptable. So, I have to reconsider my earlier condemnation of what I called distortions and misrepresentations of contemporary Western yogis. If a particular adaptation is truly helpful for practitioners, then it need not be criticized. But we can't be naive. Not all adaptations are helpful. Some might even be detrimental, like modifications introduced by unqualified teachers, or by gurus with ulterior motives, like those who charge a fee for Shaktipat.
Or the rocks which you have to buy and charge with the full moon.
Okay, let's return to the Agnya chakra. Even though the rishis don't specify a deity for this chakra, they do prescribe visualizing a linga of light, by which they mean a form of Shiva as pure consciousness within the Agnya chakra. I'm back on familiar ground now because meditating on pure consciousness is central to Advaita Vedanta. But there's a misnomer here. You can't actually meditate on consciousness because, as the meditator, you are that very consciousness. You can only meditate on objects in your mind which are illumined by the light of consciousness. So, in Vedanta, to meditate on consciousness means to meditate on the meditator. That is, to reflect on your own essential nature as pure consciousness. Today, while visualizing the Agnya chakra between my eyebrows, I reflected on how my mental image of a 2-petaled lotus can be observed by me because it's illumined by consciousness. The same pure consciousness which is my true nature. That consciousness is utterly independent of the mind, body, and world. It transcends them all. Having reached this lofty perspective, I think I'm ready for the final stage of practice, when Kundalini Shakti ascends to the Sahasrara chakra. Sahasra means 1,000, which is the number of petals in the Sahasrara chakra at the crown of the head. The rishis give no further details about this chakra. In fact, in many texts, the Sahasrara is not considered a chakra at all. It lies beyond the chakras, outside the body. It's usually depicted on the outer surface of the head, not within it. In Hindu scripture, the number 1000 stands for infinity, suggesting that the Sahasrara chakra is infinite in height and breadth, infinite in brilliance, infinite in splendor. When Kundalini Shakti finally reaches this limitless expanse, its amazing journey is complete. According to the rishis, after ascending to the Sahasrara chakra, Kundalini Shakti merges into pure consciousness and loses its individuality altogether. But the rishis say little about the meaning and symbolism of this climactic event, because its significance is best understood through meditation itself, not through words.
Because I'm guessing it's different for everyone.
I began today's meditation.
Sorry, much like he was talking about how everyone, as they ascend the chakras, they have different reactions to it. Him was more subtle, and everyone else, well, not everyone else, but some were more, I would say not violent, but very actiony, I guess.
By visualizing the Ajna chakra and focusing on the sense of warmth between my eyebrows, I allowed that sensation to grow stronger and then shifted my attention upwards towards the top of my head. As before, the sense of warmth moved upwards, but while rising, it changed into a brilliant light that seemed to fill my head and body and radiate beyond as well. Then, almost immediately, that light faded and my mind became profoundly silent. I fell into a state of absorption, samadhi, just like I had many times before using other techniques. Samadhi is somewhat like being blissfully immersed in deep sleep, except that you remain fully awake. When you wake up from sleep, you know you slept. When you emerge from samadhi, you know you were absorbed. Anyone who experiences samadhi for the first time will find it a great achievement. And anyone who discovers their true nature to be pure consciousness, utterly independent of the mind, body, and world, will find this recognition to be absolutely life-changing. Without doubt, many practitioners of Kundalini Yoga have reached these great heights and were blessed by their efforts. But my prior practice has already blessed me in these ways, so my experience of Kundalini's triumphant ascent seemed to lack the tremendous intensity that other practitioners describe. Also, I have a hunch that if I firmly believed in the actual existence of chakras, my experiences might have been far more intense. But then again, the ultimate goal of this practice is not to produce rapturous experiences, but to support the attainment of spiritual knowledge, enlightenment. I've learned a lot from this experiment. I've discovered how Advaita Vedanta and Kundalini Yoga are actually complementary to each other. I've learned to be less critical of modern adaptations, like rainbow-colored chakras. And I've made friends with this often misunderstood serpent. Will I start teaching Kundalini Yoga to my students now? I don't think so. This technique is rather complex, So it needs lots of time to learn and practice.
I'd say both. Perhaps Advaita Vedanta and that is rather complex. It's pretty strange that he learned it so quickly, but then again, him already so deep in Advaita Vedanta with all the meditation techniques, or all the techniques that he's learned, I'm sure helped him dramatically. It seemed like it was really quick, but obviously we watched it in a video. Over a long period of time, he's practiced this techniques, and I'm sure a lot of the techniques are very similar, or at least a lot of the techniques in Advaita Vedanta translates very well into Kundalini. It's kind of like, I guess, I don't know, I guess like swinging a sword and swinging a different sword, a long sword versus a gladius or something like that. It's all somewhat similar but different.
More than that, Kundalini Yoga seems like a difficult way to gain a state of absorption that can more easily be reached through other techniques. But then, if there are easier paths to samadhi, why is Kundalini Yoga so widely taught? Its popularity is very likely in response to the problem of experience seeking. The pursuit of worldly experiences can prevent people from seeking spiritual growth. But if Kundalini Yoga promises them exciting new experiences, they might consider practicing it. Then their practice could lead them to realize that something far more valuable than exciting experiences is within reach. Such a recognition could wean them away from experience seeking and incline them to pursue enlightenment instead. This so-called bait-and-switch approach might have led many practitioners to find perfect peace and lasting contentment. If so, the ability to transform those captivated by worldly experience into genuine spiritual seekers could be the most extraordinary feature of Kundalini Yoga.
Okay, Kundalini Yoga. Yeah, I have a feeling, again, it's definitely, for me, it seems like you definitely have to get into meditative state. Like, if you can do Kundalini Yoga, I have a feeling you could do Raja Yoga. Potentially. I think Raja, if I understand it correctly, it's basically the absentee of everything, your emotions, thoughts, and actions. Or Kundalini, you kind of focus, which I think is a prerequisite to meditation, where I know, at least I've heard some people do the bowl and hearing that noise, making that noise, is a way of focusing, that they can remove everything and just focus on the sound. And then once you focus on the sound, then you remove the sound. So you remove everything but the sound, and then you remove the sound, where you remove basically everything. And then Osho, I believe, he kind of thought in a sense the opposite, where basically you just everything, you just hear everything to where it becomes nothing. Whereas the other meditative technique was to hear nothing except for the one sound. That way you have a focusing point. But I guess it's different techniques for different people. So Kundalini Yoga, Raja seem similar in some sense. So if you know one, you could almost do the other. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I gotta search for more Kundalini Yoga. If any of the other gurus and Swami has it, then we'll react to it. I am so curious about the 12 different techniques, and I don't know about 13 and 14. Those are supposedly outside of the body. I don't know if those something that they talk about, but I'm curious about all 112. Hopefully we can learn a little bit something about each of the different ways, because again, don't know how each of them works, and maybe some of them are better for me or better for some people. It's best to learn them all and just to see what works. Anyways, that's my reaction to this Kundalini Yoga as envisioned by the ancient yogis. was about to say rishis. He keeps saying the rishis too. Anyways, if you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.